How to Read Informational Texts, Part 1. Titles, Contents, and Headings. Oh my! Nonfiction texts, especially informational texts, have features that are there to help us learn. What helps us learn is having a sense of organization, having tools to help guide us in our learning. Now, all nonfiction texts, all informational texts are different, but many of them share some of the same features that help us organize the information that's contained in them. We're going to look at some of these common features and how they help guide our learning, our attention, our thinking, and our remembering. So the title is like the name of the book. In this case, astronomy. Now, the title is not always the biggest set of words that you see up front. Boom, look at those. If you're old enough to know what a newspaper looks like, you probably know that the name of the newspaper is not always, well, it's usually bigger than the name, than the title. It's usually bigger than the name of the first article in the paper. See, right here. Prentice Hall Science Explorer Series, Earth Science Titles, Astronomy. That's the title of this little volume. Now, an informational text, if it's a textbook or a reference book like this one is, chances are it's got this thing called a table of contents. Contents. See it right there. Now, so the title is astronomy, and then each chapter has its own sort of title, which is called a heading. So the heading of chapter 1 is Earth, Moon, and Sun. I didn't mean to make a rhyme, but I did anyway. Bars. Anywho, there are 4 subheadings under this heading of chapter 1. Earth and space, integrating physics, gravity and motion, phases, eclipses, and tides. Let's look at subheading number 3, phases, eclipses, and tides. So, subheading number 3, phases, eclipses, and tides. That's a section of a chapter. Now, even this section is divided into sections. Here, motions of the moon, that's like a subheading. And the reason that all of this is divided into sections and sections of sections is that your brain has a much easier time with information when it comes one small chunk at a time. Before we get into reading all of these words in these chunks of information, we're going to just go ahead and read only the headings, subheadings, and subheadings of these chunks of information. And that's going to give us sort of a preview, a look ahead at what we're going to be learning about, like a map of the topic of this chapter. Phases, eclipses, and tides. Motions of the moon. Phases of the moon. Eclipses, etc., etc., etc. You have been watching How to Read Informational Texts, Part 1, Titles, Contents, and Headings. Oh my!